Welcome back to the Mental Playbook with Christine Dalgity, Season 2. This season, we are expanding the conversation, hearing from mental health experts, professionals from different industries, and people in the sports world about how they take care of their minds, handle challenges, and build the mindset to thrive both on the job and in life. So, grab a coffee, get comfy, tune in, get inspired, and let's dive into some fascinating conversations. Remember, your mind is super powerful, and with the right tools and knowledge, you can master your mental playbook. And while you're doing that, take care of you. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Mental Playbook with Christine Dalgity. Today, we're continuing with this new format. Lily's going to join me all the time and ask me some questions instead of me sitting here and just teaching. So today we are talking about saying no. It's not an easy thing to do for many people. So we're going to talk a little bit about, I assume, difficulty. I don't know what she's going to ask me. Difficulties of saying no, why we can't say no, why it's good to say no, I assume. So let's get this thing started.
Yeah. So I'm going to switch it up a little bit in a way of like, because a lot of times lately we're talking a lot about saying no as like, this is good. Like we got to start saying
Boundaries,
no first.
yeah.
But let's start with a little reversing this.
Yep.
Can saying no actually harm you? Like in nowadays, in a way of like we're saying no a lot more for the boundaries, but
yeah,
are we heading too far on the other side now?
Yeah. It can, because I think that many reasons, but people are saying, I think it depends on why we're saying no too, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes we're saying no because social isolation and that sort of thing, and so we're always saying no, so we're not getting oxytocin, we're not we're serotonin, that kind of thing, because we're isolating ourselves. Mm-hmm. And no is like a go-to of like no to invitations to do things. We're also a very egocentric society now where, well, how is this going to benefit me? Mm-hmm. Right? And so if it doesn't benefit me in any way, then the answer is no. So that can be harmful. It can be harmful to relationships. It can be harmful to, how people perceive you. Some people don't care how people perceive them. However, somebody may actually need your help and you are, it doesn't benefit me. Mm-hmm. And in my perspective, what's that doing to our society as well? Look at the videos that we see, and it's not saying no so much, but just this desensitization we have and this egocentric mindset. So many videos, like social experiments of people falling in the street to see if people will help, and the number of people that walk by them, just like, what? I saw a video, and it was, I think it was in the Middle East somewhere, and this nun, a big man, walked up behind a nun and hit her, like knocked her flat. She hit her head on a half wall kind of thing, and was lying on the ground, and he came over to kick her, and two men just walked right by. And I was like, what? Like, I felt nauseous, mm-hmm. right? And then another, you saw two or three men running to help her. Yeah. But the more we say no because of egocentric means, it desensitizes us. It makes us colder. It makes us even more narcissistic. So I think there's harm there. Mm-hmm. I think there's harm in other people when they're asking for help, or they're asking and it's always no. So then they learn this hyper independence. They can't rely on anyone. So then they have to do everything on their own, and it becomes this, they never ask for help.
Yeah.
And then there's the social isolation and stuff too.
Yeah. That's the thing I've noticed a lot, is that people will just automatically, you'll ask to hang out and they'll automatically say, no, I'm not feeling well.
Yeah.
Or and it's usually not a physical sign. It's just I have too much on my plate, or I didn't sleep well last night, and I understand, but I'm to a certain point, it's okay, but I really needed you at this moment, and now it's but I have to also pay attention to oh, like you didn't sleep well. Like I get how that can impact you.
Yeah.
So it is an interesting position I feel like we're in nowadays.
Absolutely. And it also, if it's a one-off and they didn't sleep well or they're not feeling well, but when it's all the time, well then you stop asking.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and then that's the thing. It's the stopping and then they're like, well, you never asked me to do anything, or you stop. But it's like, well, because you say no all the time. And that
Absolutely.
hurts. Like,
Yeah.
because then you're like, I guess I like, and that's probably our own issues. It's like, then it's like, well, I don't matter enough for you to, we haven't seen each other in like a month and you still like, you know.
Which is also a rejection sensitivity, perhaps, right? But if you are constantly asking someone to have coffee or hang out and they're always rejecting that, I did a finger quote there.
Yeah.
I realized when I was watching one of our podcasts that I do things with my hands or I say things and I was like, oh, I guess people on Spotify don't know what I'm doing there.
That's true. That's a very fair point.
And I don't, just the trauma video I was watching and I was like, people don't know that I just did that because I do finger quotes a lot. So yeah, like that feels like a rejection, and it is a rejection.
Yeah.
But then if it's all the time, you're right too when you say it's not just sensitivity when you're like, okay, well maybe they didn't sleep well, I don't want to keep pushing them. But then it hurts relationships.
Yeah.
Right?
What does a healthy no actually sound like instead of just saying no?
Yeah. So that's kind of a healthy no would be, no thank you, I have a lot on my plate right now. Or I'm unable to commit to that right now. Some people say, you could say, but please like check in a couple months or something like that. But you don't owe a huge explanation when we're saying no. Often understanding who you're dealing with too, because I know people in my life that I can just say, yeah, no, I don't think so, not today. And they'll be like, okay, cool. And I know people in my life that if I said that, they'd be like, oh, what? What did I do? Did I make her mad? That rejection sensitivity? But you don't have to give a full explanation. I think saying no, I mean, you can do that if you want, but a healthy way of saying it would be, some people want to say, I'm sorry, but you don't even have to say, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about the chronic knowers. No, finger quote, knowers, right? Not knowing. But I'm talking about, like, if you asked me to do something and I wasn't able to, or I felt like I had too much to do, and I said something like, I can't do it this weekend. I could just say that. I would say, I can't do it this weekend, but let's look at a different time. Right?
Yeah, it's the rescheduling.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a difference.
Yeah. But also knowing that if it's a one-off, you don't owe anyone that explanation. And that's part of setting those healthy boundaries too, because usually people pleasers, and we can get into that because that is a big thing with no's, people pleasing and that kind of thing. Someone with social anxiety, because I have social anxiety, I used to make up this big thing and explain and over-explain and why, and now I'm like, sorry, I can't, right? Or I've just got a lot on my plate right now, or I can't commit to that right now, but I used to be like, oh, I can't because I had this and this week, and then I have to do this, and then I have to do, no, you don't have to do all that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, how does it relate to, because you said we can get into people pleasing. So, like, how does
People pleasing, you don't want to disappoint anyone. People pleasing, you're a yes man in people pleasing. So to say no actually triggers the amygdala and the threat response system, your nervous system thinks that you're under threat just for saying no when you're a people pleaser. So people pleasing, people who are people pleasers, usually we become people pleasers because setting boundaries, saying no, that kind of thing growing up was seen as non-compliance. We were rewarded in some way, whether it's affection or attention, whatever, when we were compliant and did things and And so then we think that that's how we build relationships, or that's, we don't like confrontation or conflict, and we see saying no as confrontation and conflict. So all of those things set your nervous system, engage your nervous system, so you think it's a threat, and so you just say yes because you don't want to disappoint people, you don't want to hurt people, you don't want to upset people, you don't want to look like the bad guy, you don't want to look like you don't care. All of these things happen.
Yeah.
And so those are people that often burn out because they're saying yes to everything and everybody.
Yeah. My next question was what happens mentally when someone never says no? So it's like, it's that burnout.
It's burnout, yeah. Burnout. I think there's even more to that. You lose self-respect as well, because I don't know one person, and if you're out there, kudos, but I don't know one person who always wants to, right? So usually if we're a yes man, if we're never saying no, there are times where we're like, I really don't want to do this, or I don't feel comfortable with that even, or this goes against my values or something.
Yeah.
So if you are always saying yes to the things that don't align with you, it's going to impact your own self-respect and self-worth as well. So there's the burnout because you're not putting your own needs first ever, or that's exaggerating, but rarely, right? And then there's the other aspects of your self-respect, your self-worth, thinking that my needs don't matter.
I never thought of it like that.
Yeah. And you just kind of become invisible.
Yeah.
You know, I have clients who have plans, and somebody in their family says, oh, but I need this, could you? And they put their plans aside, like fun plans to go somewhere, not vacation, but like do something that day, go to a movie, whatever. And then they're like, yeah, it sucked, I was really looking forward to it, but they needed me. So, and then I'm like, okay, but what did you need in that moment? Did you get rest on that weekend? So we pull out the facts of the situation to try to get them to see things differently. What's the worst thing that can happen if you told them, I can't do that today?
Yeah.
Well, they'd be upset. Okay, but that's based on their perspective of not getting what they want.
Yeah.
And usually, if you're a people pleaser, and there's people in your life that utilize, not going to say use, but utilize that, the only reason they're upset is because they're now, like, it served a purpose. Your people pleasing served a purpose because they never had to wait, do it on their own, or whatever it happens to be.
Yeah. That's
Right?
very fair.
So it's their perspective, not the reality of the situation.
Yeah. Okay, so what are some questions that you can ask if you seem to be a people pleasing, or you struggle saying no, which I feel like it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
What are some questions you can ask yourself to like be like, okay, should I say yes or should I say no to this?
Yeah, so you can ask yourself, does what they're asking me to do align with my values, with my needs, whatever it happens to be? You can ask yourself, what's the worst thing that will happen if I say no? Realistically. Not, they'll never talk to me again. That's anxiety based. That's amygdala based. So what's the worst thing that can happen? They'll be upset. Okay. You know, is that going to change my life if they're upset? And I think that these are questions I ask clients. I think that just to ask yourself that out of the blue, you would say, yes, it will change my life because it'll hurt the relationship because of the anxiety. When I do that with clients, then we keep digging, right? Am I catastrophizing? Am I looking at the worst case scenario? And I think one of the biggest questions you can ask yourself is this something I'm willing to offer right now? Where does this align with my weekend or my week? Or, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of questions. I think you need to tailor questions to what works for you, but with the root of it being, if I said no, what does that mean?
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Am I actually realistically, factually hurting somebody by saying no, because sometimes you might be, right? And I think that that helps not only with the people pleasing part, but someone who says no all the time.
Yeah.
If you're someone who says no all the time, how many times have I said no to them?
Yeah.
Why am I actually saying no? And I think that it can be something as simple too as when Ryan was younger, when he was a teenager, there was some stuff going on in town, and I was a behaviorist in all the schools and a counselor. So I knew stuff that was going on that he didn't even, well, he probably knew because he went to school with some of the kids, but it scared me, right? Like there was some things that were happening. I think at the time it was like this I live in a small town, but it was like this group. I don't know. I say it like it's almost like the gang initiation. It's not a gang. It was a group of teenage boys in a town of 4,000 people. It wasn't a gang. I don't want people to say Elmont has gangs. Holy cow, right? No, maybe gang wannabe. No, but I worked with these boys, and I think they were very cool kids. But they were kids. They were 14, 15 years old, and they would swarm a kid and then beat them up, right? Like and it was like, that's what I mean by this initiation kind of thing. And so my fear, those kids really liked me because I wasn't a teacher. But still had that fear, like, what if they're like, oh, they all call me Miss Dalgity. What if that's Miss Dalgity's, like, what if we did that to Miss Dalgity's kid, And so logically, I didn't think they would do it, but then that fear in me. And so Ryan would say, he was grade 10, I think, can I go to a party? And I was like, no. And it just came out. And there were so many times I had to take a step back and ask myself, why did I just say no? Because what if he gets hurt? What if he doesn't, right? What if, and so then I would go in and say, you know what, buddy, I'm sorry. Yes, you can go, but these are the rules. Like, you need to be home at this time. You need to parent stuff. And I was strict with him. I was a behaviorist.
Yes.
He hated that. But, so even situations like that, if we say no to our kids out of instinct, our own fear or whatever, control or whatever, to take that step back and, why are you saying no to your kid hanging out with his friends? Why are you, because of my own anxiety or fear? Yeah. Okay, well, that's not his, right? And he was a smart kid. He would take care of himself. But, and nothing ever happened. Yeah. He actually became friendly with some of them. Yeah. And one of them actually reached out. So they're now like, well, Ryan's 34. Yeah. In next month. And so this kid, I think, the one in particular that I really worked with, he was in grade 8 at the time, and he's like 33 or something, 32. And he reached out a couple of years ago on Facebook, and he was like, hey, Miss D, I don't know if you remember me, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I remember you. I remember your birth date. Like, it was so cool. Yeah. And he goes, I just want you to know what a difference you made in my life and everything. And it was so cool. It was like 20 years later. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, complete side note. Yeah. But is it weird that they still call you Mrs. D?
And Miss Dalgity? Yeah. Yes.
Like, would you be like, if you met them would you be like, don't call me that?
Yeah, I do. Okay. I'm like, you know what? You're all grown up now. You can call me Christine. Yeah. Right? Okay. Yeah, I say that all the time. But I worked with so I started working in the school system when I was 23, right? And I'd graduated 5 years before, and I started in the high school that I graduated in. And there were a couple of teachers there that were legends, Mr. Blair and Mr. Nightingale and Mr. Curry. And I could not call them Jim or Ed, right? Or Terry. I couldn't. And they would say to me, you can call me Jim. I'm like, no, Mr. Blair, I can't. Right? And that was like when I was 23. But even in my 30s and stuff, if I saw any of them, I couldn't call them by their first name. I don't know if it's a respect thing, or there were some other teachers that I could, but these were the legends, right? And so, but it is weird. And I do always say, you're a grown up now. You don't need to call me Miss Dalgity. Okay. My name is Christine.
Good to know.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. That makes me feel really old.
Yeah.
Especially, I was 23 when I started. Some of my students were 19.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's
Because
funny to
is the-
think.
Now it's 4 years, but it was 5 years
Yeah.
then. Yeah.
That's so interesting.
Yeah. It was weird.
I bet.
And hanging out with my sister. Like, they grew up with some of my students.
Oh, crap.
Yeah, my sister,
That's
I
true.
think my sister was in grade 13 or OAC. Oh, maybe she had graduated, but some of her friends stayed or something. But yeah, my sister-in-law was at school when
That's so funny.
ex-sister-in-law, but
Yeah.
yeah. Weird.
Fascinating.
Yeah. Small town.
Yeah. All right. That's that for saying no.
That's it?
Yeah.
For saying no? All right. Thanks for joining us for this episode. We're doing some shorter episodes now for a little bit, and we're going to add some longer ones into it as well each week. That's saying no. If you have any questions and you want us to expand on anything, let us know, and comments, DMs, and we will do another segment. We'll add some to it. We'll answer your questions and take care of you. That's it for today's episode of the Mental Playbook with Christine Dalgity. Remember, the work doesn't end because the episode does. Thank you so much for listening and for being part of these conversations. If you're enjoying the podcast, please rate and follow us on Spotify. It helps us grow and reach more people who might need this too. And don't forget, take care of you.